Hello, my name is Dr. Mark Smith, and I'm the director of the Friedman Center for Lymphedema Research and Treatment at Mount Sinai Beth Israel. Today I'd like to speak to you about lymphedema, a debilitating swelling caused by an impairment in the lymphatic system that can affect the arm, the leg, or even the face. In our clinic, the most common cause, and we see many different causes of lymphedema, but the most common cause is the removal of lymph nodes for cancer treatment. It's difficult to see a cancer survivor come in and face an equally challenging prognosis in lymphedema, because untreated, lymphedema can lead to severe disability and even life-threatening infections or new malignancies. The mainstay of treatment is prevention, and this involves the use of compression garments. Unfortunately, many patients are unable to purchase compression garments because their insurance doesn't cover it. The Lymphedema Treatment Act is an essential piece of legislation that will ensure that patients will have insurance coverage for their lymphedema garments. Please show your support by contacting your representative. You'll make a significant difference in the life of a person with lymphedema. Thank you.
Look, what's this? He wants to catch the fish. You're gonna catch the fish.
My name's Heather Ferguson, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina with my husband Brian and my twin boys Devin and Dylan.
All right, you're done. Yay!
I became an advocate for better lymphedema treatment because my son Dylan was born with primary congenital lymphedema. Of course, we didn't know that when he was born. They were healthy twins, and Dylan just had a little bit of genital swelling, but the doctor said he didn't feel like it was anything to worry about. The babies are often a little puffy here or there, and it should resolve in a few days. So the swelling continued to progress down both of his legs until he had severe pitting edema in both legs and feet. At that point, he was 2 months old, and we were there for our 2-month well baby visit, and the doctor became very alarmed, worrying that his heart was failing, and sent us straight from his office to the hospital. And we spent 2 nights and 3 days there where they ran every test that they could think of, all coming back perfectly normal. And on the last day, just before they discharged us, the doctor came in and literally said, "We've been searching the internet and we found this thing called lymphedema, and it might be that." And then we were sent on our merry way without any more explanation of what lymphedema is, where we could get a definite diagnosis, how we would treat him, what this really meant for him.
People have never heard of it. People who have it don't self-identify with it. And as a result, there's no critical mass of people demanding that there be any change.
I have primary lymphedema, and it started because my lymphatics didn't develop right. So it started when I was about 3 months old in my right arm. Doctors don't really know about lymphedema. Lymphatics aren't really taught in medical school like they should be, so I've been misdiagnosed.
Lymphedema is the system failure disease of the lymphatic system. Even though you don't know much about it, and most doctors don't either, sits right at the crossroads of the circulation. We all know how important that is, and the immune system, and I hope we all know how important that is. And when you have a regional impairment in lymphatic function, you have an impairment both in your circulation and in your immune system.
It's considered a boring disease, and the doctors don't want to see lymphedema patients because they don't know anything about it. It's good when you have a murmur on your heart or you have pain in your ear because, okay, we have learned how to treat that. But when you see a patient with a big leg or arm, say, oh, what is this? What can I do? So you just want to get rid of the patient.
If you look at the pathology of lymphedema, it's actually fat deposition. So lymphedema becomes untreatable because people deposit fat in their arms. So initially when people have lymphedema, it's really a fluid problem. And that's why it responds to massage and wrapping and things like that. However, over a prolonged period of time, lymphedema is a fat problem because that fluid causes fat to accumulate.
I was diagnosed with lymphedema in 2001. My legs looked this bad, and I was told it was just my weight. It's been 10 years since my last hospitalization with cellulitis because I've had the compression garments to manage my lymphedema at home.
Put your arm out. Good. Put your hand on my shoulder.
How's that feel?
It's amazing how good it feels. I never thought compression was going to be that great.
The final common path in lymphedema treatment is the compression. Without that, the swelling will recur. And if you provide the patients with compression, you will save a lot of money in the long run.
The larger issues are Medicare covering sleeves, Medicare covering bandaging. Hopefully we'll see some resolution, which would be so great for this issue. We know that this problem, lymphedema, is incurable, but we know we can manage it and we know that we can prevent some things from happening. So that ability to have access to those things is really important.
Bend your ankle up and down.
If we can reduce fibrosis, we prevent the progression of the disease. And the more that progresses, the harder it is to reverse. The lymphatic system, we know, is always going to be compromised. This isn't a problem that's going to be fixed and go away. It's something they're going to have to kind of prevent from progressing. Once you really reduce a lot of the swelling, patients need to stay in compression all the time. They really can maintain that reduction for years and years.
7 months, the doctor prescribed his first compression garment, and that very first set of garments was covered by our insurance. As soon as we went to order the second pair, they were denied. And they said it was a mistake that we covered those. And I said, well, my son needs these. These are his treatment for this disease that he's going to have for the rest of his life. I reached out to others in the lymphedema community and, of course, quickly learned that it was a widespread problem. From day one, she just did everything she could to help us. She contacted our insurance company, and about another 9 months goes by. So after all that, their decision is that they're going to cover his garments for a year. And it actually made me more angry because I felt like they were acknowledging the medical necessity and how important they were, but yet still not wanting to step up and fulfill their responsibility. I immediately said to my state representative, I want to work on passing state legislation. I was grateful for being able to pass the state mandate, but I felt that it's unlikely that Dylan's going to live in North Carolina the rest of his life, and even if he did, this wouldn't give him coverage once he goes on to Medicare because these state mandates don't apply to Medicare. So I really always had my eye on fixing the root of the problem, which was the fact that Medicare doesn't cover these items.
So what we're looking for specifically is for the representative to co-sponsor 38.
We had about 85 patients from 23 different states join us for 2 full days on the Hill to come in support of this bill, coming together to focus on this truly bipartisan issue.
Medicare does not see that there's alignment within the Social Security Act to create a compression benefit coverage code. We need this bill in order to have that category created. Without a Medicare benefit to cover this, many patients will experience an exacerbation or worsening of their condition that is unnecessary.
Together, we can make this happen. It is the right thing to do. And the bottom line is, when it's the right thing to do, we need to find a way to do it.
These garments are something that these patients would not choose to wear if they did not desperately need them. This could happen to you, and if you had it, you would be very grateful to be able to wear compression day and night only because you desperately need it. Tell us that you will provide for us a benefit category so that medically proven, medically prescribed compression garments can be covered, are able to be covered by Medicare.
What the Lymphedema Treatment Act will do is add compression supplies to the DME benefit category. It would cover all of the existing supplies, all of the bandaging supplies, garments, custom and standard fit, any level of compression, whatever is prescribed by the doctor. And then there's one more clause in there that says, and any other item deemed appropriate by the secretary, so that if there are new products developed down the road, we don't have to go through this process again.
Compression helps me a lot. I've had 3 infections in my life and I could have died from them. Compression does help to prevent infections for me down the road. I want wellness in my life. I'm 48. I want to live till I'm 70.
Garments give you quality of life and freedom to go about your daily activities. And for me, I'm actually a Medicare beneficiary, so this bill is, I'm here fighting for my life on Capitol Hill.
I would rather at least halt it where it is with compression than see it continue going the direction it was going, because there's a point of no return. Everybody who have lymphedema, I don't care how well you're managed, all of us are afraid of that worst case scenario. We're all afraid of it.
Shake hands and go.
Dylan improved tremendously thanks to the proper and consistent treatment and being very adherent. And it took a long time to get there, but he's just had a completely healthy, happy, normal childhood, just like his brother. The disease hasn't stopped him from doing a thing, and now I have that peace of mind. It's not going to stop him from doing anything he wants in his life.
No biggie. It's just a couple of additional things into your day.
I just saw this huge need there, and part of me was angry that nobody had fixed this problem and now it was my child's. As I looked into it further, there'd been people complaining about it for a very long time, and as people do, saying somebody should fix this problem. And I felt like if I didn't decide that that was me, it was my child's problem. It's enough to be born with an incurable disease and have coverage for your treatment items. You shouldn't have to fight for those items on top of that. So I couldn't cure him, but I could make it easier for him to live with by getting the coverage for the items that he needed to have.
Letters make a huge difference. Phone calls, even more of a difference. So for people who may think, well, what could my one voice be? Certainly it takes hundreds of thousands of these voices for politicians to act. It's not true. We need to have a campaign where the media really exposes this. But that's really going to come from everyone who has lymphatic disease and lymphedema becoming their own best advocates. And you need to be verbal and really very strong that things have to change.